Nice late fall day, and I am lucky to be on the Trek Fuel LX. So you can configure this bike in multiple different configurations via swapping out the rocker arm and the lower mount. And this bike has 170 millimeter travel up front and 160 in the rear. So pretty plush, kind of all mountain build. I really like the geometry of this rig. It's got like a 473 reach, 442 chainstay on it. And the seat tube angle is like 76 degrees, but I'd say my perceived feeling of where you end up, where your hips end up climbing, it feels really nicely balanced, which is good. This feels more like a kind of winch and plummet style bike for me. Doesn't seem to have gobs of anti-squat in this configuration. But it is a smooth ride up and downhill. Yeah, it's one of these bikes that climbing wise, very nice to just plunk your butt in the saddle. It gives you more like traction versus anti-squat, which can be good for technical climbs, and doesn't give you any pedal kickback sensation when you're going over tough, uphill obstacles. But from my experience, a little bit more subdued pedal support. So just one of those bikes that makes you want to spin away in the saddle. As far as pedaling, I am absolutely in love with the SRAM Eagle 90. I totally missed the mechanical shift experience, and just feels so right to have it back. You have that nice shift gating of the new SRAM, but in a much more intuitive, old school, clicky shift, and you don't have to worry about batteries. So I really love that. Yeah, as far as what I'm feeling right now, I feel like I'm in a really nice, fairly balanced in the scope of modern geometry. As far as like a 442 chainstay, it's pretty moderate. At a 473 reach is very moderate in size large. Keeps the bike a bit more nimble on the front end, and the back end is kind of more focused on maintaining balance and traction versus agility. But certainly feels like a good place to just kind of pedal it out. Heroic to dry conditions on the climb today. And yeah, it's not like this bike feels like it's giving me a tailwind, like it's just floating up the trail, but it does feel like a really comfortable place to keep it going. Just feels like a diesel powered truck that just wants to climb its way up, like slowly but surely, at least in this coil package configuration with a DHR2 rear tire. Got to the top of Evo, drop in on this thing. Yee! Yeah, it's a very composed, like not twitchy, very settled feeling bike. It's actually the second recent bike that I've had that, it's just like that split pivot or the ABP. It just feels really nice. But yeah, this bike definitely keeps its calm. Feels very neutral on the handling front with that 442 chainstay. Does have a sub 63 degree head tube angle. Still feels feisty wrapping it around corners. Thanks to that, I really like the 473 reach on this large. Just feels very appropriate for me. Can get some good pop out of it. Got some good ramp up. Sorry if the lens is getting a little wet. Sky's just opened up. We're into that season, so this is mountain biking. So it's gonna be wet some days. Yee! Yeah, feels very composed. It's like shiny, wet conditions now. Went from absolute hero dirt to on the wetter side now, and feels like a very nice, calm bike that you want to be on when you need that little extra bit of traction. Also feels very balanced geometries wise, like throwing it hard into a corner. Yee. Sky's opened up for sure. Very slinky, nice, calm feeling, composed bike. Just really balanced and lovely experience. And I think sometimes bikes look to stand out and have something crazy to market around, but when I'm out here, these balance bikes just feel so good. It's nice to have strong flavors every once in a while, but most of the time it's just nice to have a very balanced bike that responds to you, doesn't feel like it's working against you. And that's what this is. Just try to keep the camera out of the rain as I drop in here, but this should be a good test of a long travel bike. Happy to have the coil today. Oh man, yeah, I really like the way this bike balances around corners with that 442 chainstay to 473 reach. Yay! To be honest, I'm kind of happy I swapped out the front Assegai. Just couldn't really get along with it in the northwest winter conditions, even though it's max grip. But right with this setup, I've got a new radial Mary on the front. It is feeling very good. Very calm feeling bike. This trail's got a little bit of mud on it, so you got to be a little cautious. Yeah, that coil's keeping pretty good traction while keeping that rear end fairly active. And that ABP split pivot design should keep things pretty like unencumbered under braking, and I feel like I feel that with these bikes. Muddy through there. Yeah, that rear linkage does play super nicely with the Fox coil, and yeah, it feels like it's absorbing pretty good energy, but you still get that really fast, fluttery shaft speed of a coil. It's pretty striking when you've been riding air for a second, just how much more active the coil shocks are. I actually had to play around with like adding a bit of damping just to get things to feel the way I wanted them to. Yee! Yeah, riding this trail in like the dripping wet isn't the most chill experience on Galbraith, and I'd say this bike feels like a comfortable bike to do it on. Yee! Feels very comfortable on those bigger hits. That second jump, you just kind of like land to aggressive brake bumps, and handles it really well. Yeah, Trek should be proud of this bike. Just feels like a very comfortable trail eating type of bike, which is exactly what you'd want in this travel category. But it's one of those bikes that's like kind of calming the world around you, so you feel like you can ride the way you want to ride, and the bike just kind of disappears. So ultimately just a super impressive, balanced feeling bike. I do these Maven bronze brakes are really solid. I like them. They're actually maybe just a bit less intense feeling than the silvers I have on my bike. And I think some people might like you still get the same power, they just seem a bit more subdued and less snappy. Yee. Yeah. But I would probably go to a 200 millimeter rotor in the back if it were my bike, and I'd be swapping out for Swalby radial tires. But yeah, who's this bike for? Final thoughts. I think this is just a lovely, you know, nice bike to park in the saddle all day and be ready to just ride through, you know, pretty intense, demanding trails with that longer suspension and very calm characteristic on the trail. Just feel like it's got your back. You can still slash it around. It's not like the geometry's at all out of control. And yeah, it's just such a balanced feeling, well done bike, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I guess another thing I want to express is just how easy this bike is to get along with. I think like fairly novice or beginner riders would find this bike just really calming and confidence inspiring. It's not too long to be able to throw it around, but it's not too short where it starts to feel unstable. It's just got that really nice balance. So both really experienced and newer riders will just get along with this bike so well. So yeah, huge green light from me. I think it's fantastic. If you enjoyed the review, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. And for the full words, you can go to freehab.com, written by Cy.